Hey, when you and your buddies are looking for a place to watch baseball this season, how about Long Neck Sports Grill? Each location has 4K TVs all over the place, so you'll never miss a pitch. The menu is so extensive that you can get something different every time you visit, and no place in Northern Kentucky has a better beer selection. There are locations in Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood, and when the weather is warm, there's nothing better than a spring night on Long Neck's outdoor patio. This baseball season, Long Neck Sports Grill. Stay late. Come often. We do this every single Wednesday. We talk injuries with one of the experts from OrthoCincy, Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. What we love about OrthoCincy is they have specialists and locations across the tri-state. They offer walk-in orthopedic urgent care at 5 tri-state locations, and they have extended evening and weekend hours in Edgewood and Anderson. Learn more at OrthoCincy.com. That's OrthoCincy.com. Dr. Brandon Kohrs from OrthoCincy is with us. So much to talk about. I hate that we're having another conversation about Tejay Antone, but unfortunately, here we are. He's going to have a third elbow procedure. Now, it's not technically, I guess, going to be Tommy John surgery, but close. He's already had 2 Tommy John surgeries. So given his history, given what we're dealing with, what's the prognosis?
Hey, it's going to be tough. A really, really long recovery. Looking this up, you look up how many people have returned to Major League Baseball after 3 Tommy John surgeries, and the list is quite small. So, if that is something he's able to do, it's going to be a while. I mean, we're looking at, probably a couple of seasons worth of recovery. The average recovery, you're looking at 14 to 18 months for his first surgery, second surgery. And so I think it's beyond that by the time he's able to get back.
Are there specific complications that come with the third procedure?
Well, the way you got to look at this, anytime you go in for surgery, especially revision surgery, it's not like you're starting over. It's not like, you tore the rope on your swing set and you just go out and buy a new one. You're dealing with that same rope each time you go in there. So, the bone that you've already drilled multiple holes into is going to be the same. And, your real estate becomes more limited. You're dealing with scar tissue, dealing with, your ulnar nerve, which is right in that area. So, each time you go in, things do get a little more complex. And the tissue quality that you're starting with isn't always as good either.
Obviously, every person is different. Every surgery is different. But if the Tommy John surgery specifically is so effective, why are we hearing about athletes who need it multiple times?
It's pitching. It's pitching hard. It's pitching frequently. You talk to a lot of people in the shoulder and elbow world, and baseball specifically, and they will say that pitching is cumulative and that you have a certain number of pitches in that arm, and once you hit that number, you really increase the risk of things going on. And I think this, the pandemic that you talk about, pandemic, that Justin Verlander mentioned, I think it goes back to high school baseball. And, for any dads listening to this, I mean, it's pitching, it showcases. And we talk about Major League Baseball, the number one increase in Tommy John surgery is in individuals between the ages of 15 to 19. And I think kids are pitching too much. They're pitching harder. We're getting more, data-driven pitching where, you're watching videos of yourself. And so you're working on spin rates and you're maximizing the amount of velocity you're getting. And it's too much, in my opinion.
So you kind of took it where I was going to go next. Obviously, it's really the big topic in Major League Baseball right now, where there's been this run of pitcher injuries. The Players Association is, kind of making the point, look, we have a pitch clock. We have a quicker pitch clock now in 2024. Pitchers are being asked to work quicker, and there's a correlation there. Baseball is saying, actually, it's a little bit more coincidental, and we have a whole generation of pitchers that have come up with the pitch clock. So let's start with that. Are pitchers at the highest levels being asked to work too quickly?
This is double-sided because as a fan, I enjoy not watching a 3.5-hour baseball game, to get to the end of it. And I think the pitch clock has been good for fans. Could it increase fatigue? I think it could increase the fatigue. Is it the direct cause of these increased injuries? You're not going to get anything definitive right now, but I mean, I would say no. I think this goes back to throwing. I mean, and you look at, and this is interesting from a physics standpoint, the amount of force it takes to tear your ulnar collateral ligament is less than the amount of force that it takes to throw an 80, 85 mile an hour fastball. Mm-hmm. So already right off the bat, the force of throwing a ball is greater than the force that ligament is able to withstand, especially in younger individuals. So you have these younger and younger people throwing 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. A lot of these situations, it's a ticking time bomb. And especially these individuals who have had it once already, I think there's a life expectancy on that second repair as well. And I think as we continue to get more specialized and we continue to focus on spin rates and velocity, which is actually, we talked about Justin Verlander, something that he pointed out. I think that's where the focus is. I think that, these foreign substances, these pitch clocks are kind of secondary to the big issue that you've got a generation of people who have been throwing a lot and probably throwing too much for the last 10, 15, 20 years.
And this is, I guess this is more of a statement about just baseball culture than it is anything medically. I don't see that changing anytime soon. It may change over the course of time. I don't think we're going to suddenly see a de-emphasis on velocity either at the highest level or at the amateur level. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
No, and I don't think so either. And you look at the contracts that these guys are signing, for the majority of people, you take that risk. And if you're a parent, and you think your kid's got a shot, which, most parents do, you're going to put them in showcases and you're going to have them pitch as much as possible. But, it has shown the pitch counts in younger populations do work. So I would emphasize that. And, maybe having your kid play second base for a little bit isn't going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Let's talk about a second baseman, Matt McLain. And so he's obviously dealing with the labrum issue, the cartilage tear in his shoulder, had surgery. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. David Bell did say yesterday, we're hopeful that he can come back in August. A lot of us kind of rolled our eyes. Does that prognosis seem reasonable? Should I hold out hope that I'm going to see Matt McLain play this year?
I think you hold out hope, and for one reason, in that it's his left shoulder that he had operated on, if I read that correctly. Mm-hmm. And so he plays second base, and he throws right-handed. He hits right-handed. Now, throwing isn't going to be as much of an issue. I mean, that you can come back from sooner because it's your non-throwing arm. It's going to be more of the hitting, which is a right-handed batter, and it's going to be more of your lead, your pull-through arm. But I don't think that's out of the question to see him sometime this season, as long as his rehab goes well, especially given the extremity that it is. Now, if he was a pitcher, if it was a dominant extremity, you can forget about this season, in my opinion. But non-dominant extremity, non-throwing extremity, I think there's a chance.
I hope you're right. Interesting conversation. I do appreciate it as always, Doctor. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
You got it. Awesome stuff, Dr. Brandon Kohrs. I think the topic is interesting, and look, the Players Association may have a point about the pitch clock. Maybe. I think as a fan, it's been awesome. Is it having an adverse effect on the health of pitchers? Maybe. But I still think the emphasis on velocity, and not just at the professional level, is a bigger factor. OrthoCincy.com, I say it every single week. The awesome thing about OrthoCincy is they have specialists and locations all over the tri-state, including a walk-in orthopedic urgent care during the week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at both Edgewood and Anderson. It is easier because you don't need an appointment, and it's cheaper than going to an ER whenever you have an urgent orthopedic injury. Go to OrthoCincy.com. That's OrthoCincy.com. This baseball season, catch every game at Long Neck Sports Grill. There are 3 locations in northern Kentucky, Wilder, Hebron, and Richwood. Each one of them very easy to get to. Each one of them has 4K TVs all over the place, and the sound will be on. Plus, no place in northern Kentucky has better wings And there's also no more extensive beer selection than the one you'll find at Long Neck's. Long Neck's Sports Grill. And by the way, when the weather gets warm, there's nothing like Long Neck's patio. Long Neck Sports Grill. Stay late. Come often.